Bitcoin weekly update, weekend update, all updates. We're looking at Bitcoin today across many time charts. We'll start off on the shorter time frame, the hourly chart, and then zoom out to the 4 hour, the daily, the 3-day, the weekly. We'll give you all the charts, as much information as possible with as least amount of biased analysis. Let's get going. So the hourly chart, where we're at now, we're at the EMA 34 on the hourly chart. Some things are starting to shift here, right? From bullish, we've been bullish for many days, a good part of this week, right? Any kind of throwback happened right at this yellow line, EMA 21, right? And that is an important line to watch across any time frame on many charts. And then when you start to see that break down, we don't have it yet, right? You want to wait for the closes, right? But this closes in 20 minutes. By the time this video uploads, this candle will have closed. Did we close under the EMA 21? You need to go look. If we did, right, that's a sign that something's different this time, right? You want to watch for things like that and keep you a little bit of a step ahead of the next guy, right? That's all you're trying to do, is give yourself a slight favorite over the guy on the other end of your trade, right? So if we close under here, if we have closed, that is something that hasn't happened in quite some time, right? And those are the things you got to try to spot early, a little bit ahead of, you guessed it, the next guy. So if we close under here, that could spell, the end of this uptrend and the start of a new downtrend. Now, how long will the downtrend last? It could be a couple candles, and then we go back to a new uptrend. But there's no guarantees, right? But you're just trying to shift the odds in your favor, and the odds start to shift towards the bear favor if we close into the EMA 21, because we haven't done that in quite some time, right? You see that? Not only that, but just side tip here, right? You want to watch this median line on these Bollinger Bands, right? Bollinger Bands are a great useful tool, not only for, by definition, the prices are high at the top end, prices are low at the bottom end, but you can start to get this, good and evil, so to speak, bulls and bears on each half of the Bollinger Band on any time frame, the hourly, the 5-minute, the 5-week, the 5-month, whatever. Watch that median Bollinger Band. As long as you're in this top half, you can see a thin purple line, not this thick one, right? We're looking at this thinner one right here, right? You're in, bullish territory, bearish territory, the Empire, the Jedi, right? Whatever you want to do it, right? That's where we're at. So we'll see where we end up closing that. Then we zoom out to the 4 hour. What do we have here? Well, we're still bullish here for sure, but we have similar things to be watching for. Where do we see any retests? This red EMA 8 line. The EMA 8 seems to be on the 4 hour chart anyway, right? All the tests go right to it, right? We can go a little below it, right? We've been a little below it. You don't close below it. On a strong uptrend, you're holding that as support, and we've done that, right? So here we are again. We haven't really, tested it anywhere really close to where we are now. But again, this closes in, you guessed it, 18 minutes, 8 a.m. Eastern time. This 4 hour candle will close. Did we close under the EMA 8, or did we close on it? Did we bounce again? Right? As long as we're not closing under this, as long as we're not closing under the EMA 21 on the hourly chart, right? We're still bullish by definition, for sure, right? If you're holding the weakest, I say the EMA 8 because it's the shortest time frame, right? If you're holding that, your uptrend is still very strong. You can really hold the EMA 21, so we could theoretically come all the way down to 26.2, 26.3 on the 4 hour chart and still be relatively bullish, because also, right, you're in the top half of the Bollinger Band. See the thin purple line? Same thing, translates across all time frames, right? So that's what we're watching for today. The 4 hour, the hourly chart, that's what you're looking for going into the weekend even, right? If you're testing this EMA 21, you're less bullish, but still bullish, right? More bullish, the bigger bulls are still in charge as long as you're holding above the EMA 8. Now, we do have a slight hesitation here because we have the EMA 200 above us, and that's been resistance for a long time. I would go with, I don't know, about 2 months. 2 months? How the hell? Let's zoom out, right? There's a bullish close, an indecision candle, and then bearish close, right? Remember that pattern. Let's go back and look at the last time we did this. Let's go back. How about right here? What did we do? A bullish close, an indecision, a bearish close. throw back to EMA 8, hold it for several sessions, right? Couple days here, right? These are 4-hour candles, and then bears resume control after rejection at the EMA 200, right? Green, indecision, red. What do we see now? Green, indecision, red. Holding on the EMA 8 for now. Are we going to rhyme? Are we going to repeat, right? History doesn't repeat, but it does often rhyme. So cautious until we get multiple closes above the EMA 200, okay? Let's go back even further. Bullish close, bearish close, send it down, right? So we've been struggling with this for a while. Even going back to early August, again, bull close, pretty much bearish there, sell off immediately, bearish again, and then send it down. Got going a little bit here, right? Couple closes up here, but these are the wicks you got to be watching out for, right? These are not good looking candles. When you make these powerful bull moves quickly and then sell off, that's a pressure pushing you down. And then we're getting back to back of those, right? I mean, you can just paint that line, right? At 30K is the last time we saw that light, right? So now we're back in July even, right? We've been struggling with the EMA 200 really since we held it as support for so long, breaking it, and now flipped support to resistance, right? Resistance flips to support, support flips to resistance. So that is that, as they say. So now we'll zoom out more. If you're still with me, kudos to you. Hopefully you're learning a little bit here, or at least trying to sharpen all the tools in your toolkit. So let's look further, right? How about the daily chart, right? This is the daily chart's useful for, maybe a week ahead to a couple weeks ahead, right? If you're looking for just daily action, you're looking at the hourly 4-hour chart. But keep in mind, the more you zoom in, like the 5-minute chart, the hourly chart, those hold much less weight than a daily chart, weekly chart. So hopefully it makes sense, right? So now we're at the daily. We'll see how this keeps shaping up. But I like our odds so far. I like this, right? This kind of deviation, so to speak, right? With the fake out move down, looked really bearish, took out all the swept the lows here with a big close, and then immediately recover and then follow through. That's the most important. It's not just the recovery; it's the follow through after that that shows that the bulls may have been faking this, right? Maybe just let the bears think they're in charge, and then move back to the upside at least temporarily. Now let's look at resistance to the upside, right? Since we've made this move, support, obviously the EMA 21 on the daily, we've closed above here. But again, we've been here before. We closed once, twice, not 3 times, right? 3 strikes out. Once, are we going to hold it today? Well, the EMA 21, let's get an exact number. If we throw this down, 26,266 as of right now for that yellow EMA 21. The EMA 8, still okay. 26,134. Those will change slightly as prices fluctuate throughout the day, so watch for that. Again, watch for these long upper shadows like these guys, right? These rejections off of key moving averages. That will be a sign, especially if you come up to the EMA 200 at 27K sometime this weekend or next week even. If you get one of these long upper shadows, like say we go to 27.3 and then come back and close under here, that's a warning sign, so watch for that. I like to close, above key moving averages with authority, right? Get back above it and leave no doubt, right? So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a solid close, like 27.2, 27.3, just obliterate it. But you have a lot of headroom resistance, right? We have the Bollinger Bands at the top here. We have the EMA 50 in the green. We have the EMA 100 in the blue, where we rejected at last rally. So the EMA 100 is 27.5. So we can paint this as a zone between the 200 and the 100. Here's our resistance zone. This is huge, right? If we get through this, I think there's a serious case to be made based on the facts in the chart, not my opinion or anyone else's. No bias here. I think if we can close above 27.5, I think we have a not only good shot, but I think we are very likely to come up to our next resistance zone. I would say somewhere in this area, 29 to 29.5. Now, that is a pretty significant move. And I'm not saying that's going to happen this week, next week. Just saying whenever you see prices clear 27.5, based on this chart, there's no rhyme or reason why we couldn't come up here, right? We think of how much work we've done to get through the 8, the 14, the medium Bollinger Band, the 21, the 34, the 200, the 50. You've done all the work. Now all you got to do is crawl to the finish line, right? You've climbed all the obstacles, right? You've done the hardest of hard. This is a cakewalk from 27.5 to 29, right? And that's a relatively significant move for Bitcoin to go, 5%, 6%, and saying that's easy, right? That should be easy. Now, I'm not saying that's the odds. If you see 27.5 get closed above with a bullish candle, then I think the odds are this is our next zone. Okay, so keep that in mind. If we get up here, this will be major resistance. I would still bank on probably got some more effort to do in here. Now, this could take weeks or months, so we're likely not going to get an answer on this between now and even next week, right? We're probably looking at a week to 2 weeks to a week to a month to 2 months, right? We could be looking at, October battling this, November battling this, giving you a heads up for the bigger picture. If we get up to 29K, I think we're probably going to need some more time. I think we are, put it on closing prices here, makes it a little bit easier, right? Until proven otherwise, here's our downtrend, right? So watch for these high closes. Keep this in mind. If we get to our resistance zone, right, we could absolutely, rhyme with this where we come up, put in yet another lower high even than here, stay under this moving average or this, downtrend average, I would guess, right? And then we reject, say, off of 27.5, right, in this first zone, and then come back down and either range in 25K or, put in fresh lows. We could absolutely do something like that. But you need to have in the back of your mind, if we don't, and we do something like this instead, that we kind of flip 27.5 to support, right, we could absolutely get the big bulls back in charge and do something more or less along the lines of this, right? Going into kind of the stair step, this would be like the most bullish case right here, right? Where the lows are in for potentially forever because we've, potentially putting in a double bottom, and this is still a double bottom potentially, not a double bottom yet, right? Double bottoms confirm after a new high is broken. So if we come up and take this, then that gives us better odds of this being a double bottom here, right? You can see that pretty clear cut there. So far, so good. I would say if we're, flipping, coming out and, flipping 27.5 to support, if we're at 29 to 30K, if we're flipping this to support, highly possible that this is our lows, maybe for the rest of history for Bitcoin, right? Maybe we don't come back to 25K anymore. If these are big ifs with capitals and, highlights, bold, italic font, grandma, your cousin's 72-point font emails that you send, that's this kind of if, right? If we flip that, right? If say we flip, this resistance zone to support, then there's a case to be made that, we're going to the, Valhalla for all of 2024. And, these timelines are way off. Right? I would much more anticipate these timelines being something along the lines of, something like this. Maybe October, we're trying to knock on the door, going towards the end of the year. Then we're getting, trying to flip 30K to support, right? I find it hard to believe we're going to be above 30K anymore this year. But if we are, right, take that as a massive sign for the bulls, right? I think more likely we range between, mid 20s to upper 20s for the rest of 2023. That's my opinion, my odds based on, my 6-7 years of experience in this market. So, that's that for the daily chart. Hopefully, at least 2 of you are with me. If that's the case, then it's worth it. So let's keep going. The 3-day. 3-day, right? You can zoom out on the 3-day and just say, hey, well, what if we're just range bound, right? We're just cooling off, right? And this is our range, right? We're in this rectangle zone, and there's a legit case to be made for that, right? On the longer time frames, we've just put in a hell of a move in the early 2023, and hey, we're just consolidating, building our next step up for, late 2023, early 2024. Once we break 30K again, that's our next base, and we're going to our next step, right? So in the macro scale, right? To early 2023, late 2022. We made our move. Here's step 1, step 2 sideways, step 3, again, right? Here's that's usually how the things work in the grand scheme of things, right? So no matter what we do between, 30K to, whatever, 20K, 24K, right? That's kind of where we start to get bearish if we break under here again. And it'd be bigger bears because we shouldn't, technically, by per chart, per TA analysis, this is not how you do it, right? You don't come under, previous breakout zone for the macro scale, right? You can see this going all the way back to August of 2022. And then again, a retest in February 2023, break it. And now we're in this, the macro zone. If you break and close under here, 24.5, be careful what you wish for. All the people that want these lower prices, we would highly likely be stuck under here for at least 3-6 months minimum. This would be bad, right? You don't really want this. No matter what you think you want 18K, 20K Bitcoin, be careful. You might get it and then some, right? So 24.5 is where things get real sketchy and should not be taken lightly. However, right, until that day comes, right, don't panic, right? We could just be building for our next base so far, higher low, right? We put a low in here, higher low so far. Work our way back up, flip the 200 back, which is also the 600 day. If you're wondering how I'm doing that, we're on the 3-day chart. So the 200 EMA, 3 times 2. Got it? All right. All right. So that's what we're looking at for that. Moving back to the upside, right? That's where we want to break out this major zone. We could be doing that. How about, just regular analysis? Let's get off the wild speculation. Okay, let's do that, right? So what kind of patterns could we be forming here? Well, if you remember back in, late 2022, if you put this on a weekly chart, right, it looks very similar to potentially what we're doing here, right? So let's do that real quick. We'll come right back. Don't panic, right? I want to show you this, right? So this kind of double wall, right? This guy right here, this is what I'm painting here. So this move down, consolidation, and a move up. Kind of see this wall and then this wall, right? This is a major reversal sign, right? And this was confirmed right there, right? So January, bull market is here, right? We're taking out this highs. Now it wasn't this candle, but right here, there's signs of a new bull market. I believe we made a video in mid-January, said the 2023 bull market is already here, right? Because of this, nothing else. So keeping in mind this pattern, right? Let's go back to the 3-day and see what potentially we could be rhyming with, right? Load chart, right? And hopefully you're seeing it at this point, right? You can see something very similar. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Patterns tend to be similar and fractal in nature, right? We could see something like this. Just not the odds, right? This is not the odds. I'm not saying we're going to do this. I'm saying there's a potential if we do this and recapture 29K, we have a higher than 50% chance, once we break that, 29, 30K area again, that zone that we painted on the daily, that, we're out of here, right? This would be the lows. This would be a massive reversal. This would have to happen within the next week, right? We need to be doing something to recapture quickly, right? Because you want to rhyme with this guy, right? This took a couple of candles to really move down. You could give it 3. So we'll give this 3. So here's 1, where next candle, right, which that closes, it starts tomorrow. So going into Sunday close, right, you want into the weekly close, we would need to be, I would say at least 28K. So keep that in mind in the back of your head, right? We're trying to build another wall up here, right? Okay. We're going to build a wall. It's going to be a great. All right. So getting out of the Trump nation. Really quick. So we have the 200 above us, the 600 day, 27.6 where we got to flip to. And what else is there? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's take a deeper dive. We have a number of things right above us. The 21, check. Resistance, check. The EMA 200, check, big one. And guess what is also there? The 20 SMA, the medium Bollinger Band right here. So we have a let's do it. Let's paint our next zone, right? Our zone starts on the 3-day chart right here. So that's our zone, 27 to 27.5-ish, 27.6 area on the 3-day. We clear that. Guess what? We're in the bull zone, right? Remember the top half of the Bollinger Bands, right? And we've cleared all moving averages. This is the work. We put in this work, we have blue skies ahead, quite literally, blue. Right, so that's what we're looking for. 3-day chart, clear as day. Blue skies. All right, so let's zoom out again. Let's back the train up real quick. Okay, how about the Gaussian channel? We need to make an appearance there, right? You can't even make this up, folks. I mean, the median Gaussian channel is also right there, 27.5. It's going to be huge. 27.5 is the Zelda key. I don't know why that popped in, right? That's our key to unlock the magic Ocarina of Time, right? We have to unlock 27.5 on the 3-day chart, and Valhalla is near, right? Okay, 27.5. How many things do we have there? I mean, there's more traffic here than Atlanta. I don't know the road in California. That's probably worse. What else? Atlanta's pretty bad, right? I'm on the East Coast. Atlanta's bad. You don't go through Atlanta, right? This is Atlanta, right? Are we going to get through it, or are we going to give up and start walking back to I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'll stop there. You got the idea. There's a lot of traffic here. Okay, so let's zoom out to the 5-day, because the Gaussian channel on the 5-day deserves a little peek-see, right? What the hell? I put this out on Twitter yesterday. Look at the median line on the 5-day Gaussian. How much resistance was that? Resistance, resistance, resistance. If you fast forward enough in the future, you can find usually major resistance lines get tested again. Guess what? We just wicked off of that perfectly right there. 24.9. That's the median line on the 5-day Gaussian channel. You can't make it up, right? Are we going to hit it again? Maybe, right? Look how many tests we got here. If not, then that will be a sight to behold, right? Hindsight will be 2020. We'll be like, holy shit, we flipped resistance to support, and that was all she wrote, right? Imagine the lows are in forever. I'm not saying they are, but imagine how many people would get disappointed. How many people will be left out again, much like all the people left out down here, right? That were, thinking that would fail, this would fail, this would fail, this would fail, this would fail, right? So far it's failed, but I mean, look at where we are, right? If you say we're at 26K back, a year ago, right? Right? You've heard all the narratives, right? Just focus on the price. The price is king. You don't have to listen to anyone else's narrative, even mine, right? But I tried to present the price charts to you as least biased as possible. At least look at both sides, so you know what is significant once that event happens. On the 3-day chart, the 5-day chart, it's 27.5. Write the damn number down, 27.5. If you see prices above 27.5, there's a lot to be hopeful for. Not based on anyone's narrative, based on the price charts of the 3-day, the 5-day. Stuff starts to happen there, okay? All the work has been done between here and 27.5. After 27.5, you've got a cakewalk, right? Keep that in mind. All right, let's zoom out to the weekly. We'll wrap it up soon. I know it's a longer one, but we haven't made one all week. We're doing a more in-depth video here. All right, Gaussian channel, median line. On the weekly, historically, Bitcoin does not close back below this line once it's closed above it. So, right, we closed above it first right here back in March of 2023. How many closes have you seen back below it? Zero. The answer is zero, right? Go back in Bitcoin's history. The only anomaly is the pandemic. Besides that, Black Swan event, Bitcoin has never closed back below the median line on the Gaussian weekly after it's closed above it. Maybe that blew your mind, right? So 24.5, right? Historically, that's the number. If we break under that, remember that zone we painted on the 3-day chart? If we close under 24.5, that's the first time in Bitcoin's history that it's closed back under the median Gaussian channel on the weekly. That should not be taken lightly, and we would likely be stuck under here for at least 3 to 6 months, if not longer. We do not want that. That would be real bad. That's crossing the streams bad. Cats and dogs living together. Real mass hysteria. Okay. All right. So until then, we're still okay. And guess what? We have some bullish possibilities to move down. Right. This falling channel afterwards, seeming to breaking up so far. Right. This is potential. Right. We cleared the top of that weekly Gaussian channel above 28, but you guessed it. We're in the cakewalk territory. We're in blue sky territory up in here, right? You see that? Blue. It's literally blue for a reason. If we clear this, I mean, what? Of course, you know, local highs are possible. 30K, 32K, 42K, 42 million, right? We're on the way. We're on the way, but here's the work. Where do we have to put in the work first, right? You don't become a star athlete by wishing it, right? Here's our zone. We're stuck in here, right? And we're here until we're not. Okay. So you see 27.5, you're like, shit, we could do it. Chase said, the chart said, the daily and the 3-day, 27.5 is it. But the weekly starts to really start to happen above 28.5. We got a little bit more, right? 27.5 becomes easier. 28.5 becomes a lot easier. Anything, if we get to 30K, 29, 30K again, take out these highs, right? Here's our finish line. This is where we just kind of roll over everyone, right? Take that out again, new high, new high on the weekly, and all bets are off to the upside. I would say highly likely that our lows forever for Bitcoin are in, right? If this clears, right? This big if, remember, bold font. Let email to your grandma, 72 point, big if. But if we're up in this area again, highly likely that this is the lows forever for Bitcoin. Previous lows, resistance, flip to new lows, support. Hopefully that makes sense. That's the weekly update. Have a great weekend. If you want to stick around for quote and card of the day, we got some good ones. Let's get right to it. Also, side note, let's do crypto fear and greed index update. Let's see where we're at. Are we still in fear? Highly likely, right? A lot of people scared. I get it. We're still in fear, right? Keep that in mind. All right. What about the altcoin season index? Maybe you have altcoins. Well, we're making some headway. So maybe you look at the chart today and you're like, why is Bitcoin down and the rest of the market, right? Altcoins not doing so bad, right? There's some green in there. Well, that's why. You always have to have context of what you're looking at. So if you're wondering why, go check this chart. The altcoin season index is at 41. It's not altcoin season, but it's also not Bitcoin season. So we're kind of in the middle. So if Bitcoin kind of holds here and starts to move back up, I think you'll see some altcoins start, showing that they can do some stuff. Okay, so watch that altcoin season index. It's free on blockchaincenter.net. Lots of good things there. Quote of the day. Nobody made a greater mistake than he who did nothing because he could only do a little. Kind of reminds me of me. I could help 4 of you, right? Maybe I'm helping only 1 of you at this point, 28 minutes in. But, probably should make more videos just to help even a couple of you. So, cheers. All right. Car of the day. Lamborghini. You got it? You got what this one is? It's a new one. It's the newest one. The Revuelto. I think I said that right. So this is, to me, looks great, fantastic, but it's like a hybrid of their other cars, which I'm not a fan of. I like cars that are super individual characteristics. This one, you're like, what am I talking about? Well, if you're a Lambo fan, this is almost identical to the Lamborghini Sion front end. Right? I mean, it even has this thing, has the same damn hood, it seems like. The headlights are near identical. The rear is unique. I do like the rear, but the front, I mean, I love it. I mean, it looks super aggressive. But again, I like individual cars to have nothing else like it, right? So go to the rear, and now we're getting there, right? Unique. So, I mean, probably the coolest looking Lambo in a while. But what do these taillights remind you of? The Sion one, a little bit, but more than the Centenario. The Centenario has these like laser beam headlights, or taillights rather. The exhaust is unique. I haven't seen that done before on Lambo, so kudos for that. The Revuelto, the side looks a little unique, but, you know, taking bits and pieces from other Lambos that you've done. I mean, the Centenario's been out for like a decade now, so they just kind of put those in there. And then the Sion's been out for like 5 years, so they, you know, whatever. I'm just not a huge fan of taking, you know, I don't feel like a Mercedes S63 should have the same headlights as a Mercedes, you know, E-Class, right? They should have their own damn headlights, right? BMW M5 should not have the same headlights as a 335, right? Lamborghini Revuelto should not be taking hybrid parts from a Sion and a Centenario, right? Come up, get the new designer. Did you fire the headlight guy? Get the headlight guy back, right? Lamborghinis can make gray headlights. These are gray headlights. They're the fucking Sion. Give them back to the Sion and put some unique headlights in here. All right, that's my rant on Lambos for the day. Have a great weekend. Happy Friday for the two of you, maybe one of you, maybe zero of you. More likely zero at 30 minutes. It's probably my longest video of all time. But, you know, making a little bit more, let me know if you want me to make like 1 or 2 weekly videos, but longer like this, more in depth, talking about more things, or would you rather make me like 5-minute videos talking about one thing and cut right to the point because you have the attention span of a chicken sandwich? If you've watched this long, obviously that's not true. So, you win. If you watch this long, let me know in the comments. I doubt it. I doubt I'll see anybody this long. If you did, you just fast forwarded to this, right? You skipped all the stuff. That's fine too. At least you're at this part now. Like, I just watched the cars. I don't even know what crypto is. All right. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great weekend. Next week I'm out on vacation. So for the one of you watching this long, you know, nobody else will know. Everybody will be like, where's Chase this week? You're like,